Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How is everyone tonight? All right. We are going to get into this in a moment. Uh, are we at the breaking point? That is the title of this live stream, and we're going to be discussing many things. And so we will get into that shortly. So before we get started, though, I would like to remind everybody that this is a very family friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. We can have a nice stream that way and be able to have a good discussion. If you cannot abide by those easy, simple rules, those awesome people that you see lit up in blue will boot you out of here because we are not going to have it. Okay. Yeah, why are you? I don't know why the lighting is crap. I don't know. I have no idea. So let me see if I do it that way. I got the light over here. It's when I do the streams in the camper, it's much brighter and much lighter. So I do not know. I would have to have like another light, like right here or something. So that I know it looks really dark. So oh well, it is what it is, and I apologize, but I cannot change it at all. So, but okay, so we're gonna have a good discussion this evening, and it's an eclipse. Exactly, that's the problem. All right, so one of the things is shining off the rainbow in the biker picture. That's right. Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I wonder if I can't take the way this lamp is. I can't take the shade off of it, so it is what it is. All right. Anyway, let's get rocking and rolling here. So obviously my video today absolutely was 100% shadow banned by YouTube. I've had a grand total of 4 hours since the video was put up, about 1,100 views on the video, talking about will more laws help anything? And I was talking about more of these type of laws, obviously, and so of course, they don't want that put out there, so they will not let people know that it's there. It is amazing how certain things are done and certain things that are happening. Here's a question that I have. So I'm getting all these comments, on the thing, and somebody was saying that, well, this was my favorite. An 18-year-old is not allowed to buy alcohol and drink. How come they're able to buy one of these, right? Okay, so my reply to that comment was, oh, but it's okay for an 18-year-old to go and fight and die for our country. That's perfectly fine, right? You know what I mean? So it is amazing to me the mindset of people because a small handful of young people do stupid things. So let me ask you this, okay? So uh, as kids, let me ask you this: as kids, how many of you snuck out of your house? Now, in the comments, please, yes or no. Did you ever sneak out of your house? All right, because I have a point to this. So, in the comments, yes or no. Did you ever sneak out of your house? Well, I can see some of you are boring. No, I'm just teasing you. Uh, it's about 50-50. Some yes, some no. I absolutely did. We're off doing things that we shouldn't do. That's why you sneak out of the house in the first place. So, that being said, do you think because some kids snuck out of the house and got caught, and some kids snuck out of the house and didn't get caught, should we beat them all with a belt? Every single one of them, or a cane? Should they all be caned because they snuck out of the house? You can't blame everybody. So, my point is this: you can't blame everybody because of the actions of a few individuals. Uh, I have I as ex-military, I have a huge problem when 17, 18, 19-year-old kids are joining the service. They're not allowed to buy a pack of cigarettes. They're not allowed to buy alcohol, but it's okay that they go over and they kill people or risk their lives and can die for our country. That's perfectly acceptable. There needs to be a clause, and this is just my personal opinion, just putting it out there. Okay. If you are in the military, you should be allowed to drink, buy cigarettes at whatever age you are when you go into the military. You know, I respect authority even when I was young. Hot mama preparedness. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's there's a lot of wild childs out there. They want to have a good time. They're going to sneak out. They're going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong. Well, it's wrong because if you didn't have to sneak out to do it, you wouldn't have a problem. But you know, the point is, if an 18-year-old, and I want you to think about this, guys. At 18, I went out and I bought my first gun. I can distinctly remember that I have not ever once gone off and shot up any school, shot up anybody else, or attacked people with that weapon. It's just it amazes me because when you have a person that was 18 that did this, now all of a sudden, I'll be honest with you. When they raised the age that you could buy cigarettes from 18 to 21, I was like, how stupid is this? I started smoking at 12. I quit smoking at 16 because it got, to me, too expensive because they raised it from the outrageous price of 75 cents a pack to $1 a pack. And, you know, I didn't want to, wasn't going to pay $1 a pack. Yeah, 18 is a kid. I'm going to tell you what, I know a lot of people that are in their early 20s that are not mature yet. They haven't matured, period, at all. It happens. It doesn't mean that, because you went and purchased a firearm, that all 18-year-olds are going to be irresponsible with that. If they have been taught properly how to handle a weapon and do the things and realize that it is not a toy, uh, you know, you're going to generally be really responsible. When you have individuals with mental health issues, with abuse issues. Now, I'm not saying this kid was abused. I don't know. I'm making a point. When you have people that have, been evaluated many times because of different issues, maybe there needs to be on a case by case basis, uh, you know, some kind of protocol. I'm not saying what it should be. I don't know what it should be, but there needs to be, you know, I got my own 22 at 16. I got it better with you, Romines. I had a 22 when I was 9. I had a 22 when I was 9. So but here somebody made a good point. Since cars kill sometimes, should we outlaw vehicles? Well, that's a great point. Should we stop everybody from driving cars because some people choose to drink and drive? Well, then we should just ban them altogether. Ban cars altogether because, of the actions of a few irresponsible individuals. It should be completely banned. Cars should be off the road. You should not have that option. Too many people are being killed in car accidents, and it is the car's fault. It's not the individual's fault because they drove drunk or they drove at excessive speeds, that they took chances. It's not their fault. It's the car's fault. It just if you put it into that perspective, it just shows you how ludicrous this whole situation is. Okay. Um, what do we got? 527 in the chat, guys. We're at 176 thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And thank you ahead of time. I do appreciate that. It really does help with the algorithms. So the more interaction that we have, the better it is for the channel. And then thank you for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe, and make sure that you hit the bell icon to get all notifications as well. Now, here's another example. Let's talk about another example. It is the spoon's fault that somebody got fat. It's not the person's fault because they didn't push away from the table, because they were able to continue to fill up that spoon and put it in their pie hole. That is why they're fat. It's not their fault. It's somebody. We should be banning spoons and forks. Forks are very dangerous as well because forks can also be used as a weapon. It's the argument doesn't hold any water. You know what I mean? The argument does not hold any water. Anything can be used as a weapon. A lunatic is going to do what a lunatic is going to do. Timothy McVeigh is a great example of that, folks. Great example. He used fertilizer and he set off a bomb that killed a whole bunch of people, in Oklahoma. And I mean, if you guys remember that, he was caught and he was executed. And but there was more to that one. We're not going to even get into that. We're not going to touch that because we're not going to get into that whole thing. But it just shows you what a motivated individual, if they want to do something, they're going to do it. You sure was. I was a nurse in Oklahoma when that happened. Oh, go ahead, take the whole package, honey. Oh, you gonna stop here and say hello to everybody?
Hello. I'm here.
Yes, Timothy McVeigh was ex-military too, and he was disgruntled. Shocking. I know it's shocking that he was disgruntled, but I mean,
so low.
What's that?
Your brightness is so low.
Well, how do we brighten it up? Hold on, guys.
I don't know. There's just the brightness. I can't see. No, it's the battery mode. Oh well, it's just going to be like this, I guess.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a real bad. I know, and I can't. When I'm on this and I'm in West Virginia, it's just as bright as can be.
That's weird.
It's just it's the lighting. That's.
Not that. Okay, sometimes they have buttons up top that'll let you change it. I'm not even reading the comments. Sorry, I'm just more focused on how dark it is. I don't want to mess anything up there. Oh well. Okay, we're good.
All right. Well, like I said, it is what it is.
How's hat creating going? It's going good. Got a couple orders, which I appreciate. You guys are awesome.
Francine, how is your mom and Becky doing? Everybody's doing well. Everybody's doing well. Yeah, the camera prefers West Virginia as well. Yes, it does. But yeah, they need to get rid of violent rap music. Hey, they tried to blame heavy metal. Video games, music does not make people do things. Disturbed people do things. When you have a lot of people that have mental problems. Would you do something with the top of her head? It is an absolute mess there. I don't know what she did.
Well,
rolled
I was
in mud.
filling up the water thing. She was put over it. I'm not curious, so I sprayed her with a little bit of water.
Oh, is
so
that
she
why?
Got herself all muddy afterwards.
Hell, what happened? Was she abusing you?
Oh yeah.
Was
Some
she?
dogs, like how they have to bite the water. I know she was going to do that, and she was not having it.
Poor baby. Yeah, but you're all muddy now.
She's always muddy.
She is not always muddy.
All right, well, I'll go do that. I guess.
I see a lot of people asking about your mother. Okay, so I will tell you what's going on with mom. Mom is fine. There's no issues with mom. Mom and Becky they lived together before. They had an apartment. Mom had her own room. Becky had her own room. When Mom and Becky moved into the other house over here, they were right side by side. They were not getting along so well. So Mom decided to move into a senior living apartment because they were at each other's like this constantly. And so it was not a good situation. So mom decided to move into there for now. She has told me that once I get things squared away and down in West Virginia, and get everything built and we have, septic and everything else down there, that she will come down to West Virginia at that point. Can't blame her. They have everybody needs their own space, right? Yeah, everybody needs their own space, and so she is. Can Heather make a hat for my dog? She can, Prep Rebel. If you shoot Heather an email at her Etsy account, she absolutely will do that for you. So you just you ask her and she can do that. So for now, mom had she moved into an apartment. My niece is in the town of Batavia. My niece is there, and so she and JJ just threw the link up for you, Prep Rebel, for Heather's Etsy account. So my niece is there, so she's helping out mom with, getting her running around whatever she needs and stuff like that. I actually, when I got home this time, Heather and I went over and we visited with mom. So that's why you haven't seen mom, because mom actually moved out because of that reason. So it is what it is. Neither one was in the right or the wrong. They just were too closely confined together. Literally, Becky's bed was here, and if you remember, mom's bed was here. So there was no privacy. And but No, we're not near the breaking point yet. Next question. Well, thank you, Professor, for that exquisite answer, and answering for everyone in the world and all of us here in the United States. So I appreciate your wisdom in there. Uh, but the reality is, so we will get into the breaking point here. Let's talk. We're going to talk about that right now. I think that we are absolutely at a breaking point. Whose breaking point? Preppers or everyone else's? Here's my take. Okay. Here's my take. I think things will progressively get worse and worse and worse. Okay. I think you're going to see acts of violence continue to happen. You will see other events continue to happen. They've already basically told us ahead of time that there will be blackouts this year because of the demand on the power grid. This push that they're doing, their agenda, whatever that may be. Hey, we the people. Hey, PN1. Been busy with work and family and didn't tend your chats lately. We're definitely at a breaking point. Anything can happen from here on. And I don't disagree with that statement. Thank you very much for the statement, and thank you very much for the donation as well. What we have a problem with right now is people are frustrated. They are stressed beyond belief. When you are highly stressed, you have a tendency to be a lot more volatile, more easy to anger, more frustration. Hey, Asif, if gas and diesel increases by another dollar, then there will be riots in the streets. I believe in gun control, controlling your guns when it's used. Yeah, I agree with that too. Gun control is using two hands. That's called gun control. And thank you very much for the statement as well. And thank you very much for the donation. You know, people are highly stressed. They're very, very upset. The rhetoric, the propaganda machines, and I say machines, and I'm talking YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're the regular news, wherever you're getting information, there's an agenda that's being pushed. We all know that. Anybody that's been sitting here on my channel any length of time, we are not, you know, we're not going to be fooled. But most people are. They just watch the news. They believe everything that they're told. Uh, you know, so I don't know if you guys saw this today. Greg Abbott was doing his statement, of the situation, in Texas, and I'm going to call him Beta, but Beto. Rourke. I mean, what kind of freaking name is that to begin with? But I'll call him Beta because that's what he is. Got up there, interrupted, made a big scene, had to be escorted from the building. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really pisses me off if you are anti whatever, if you're anti gun, whatever the case may be. Okay, that is not the time to try to push your agenda when families are hurting because of a lunatic that did something. So let me ask you guys this question. Let's say that kid had gone into that school and he had knives instead of a gun, and he killed a whole bunch of people that way. Well, would all these lunatics out there, these anti-gun people and all that, would they be all up in arms and now we need to ban knives? I mean, it is so stupid. When you have an area, now I'm going to give you an example. My daughter's school, they've done this now for quite a while. They have a portal that you got to go through. So you can't just walk into the school. You're not allowed to just walk into the school. What you have to do is you go in, there's a lady behind the plexiglass. You have to tell her why you're there and who, either they'll, if you have like a meeting with somebody, then they may let you in because they got a list. Or if you're waiting to pick up your child, they'll call your child down and your child comes out. They're just not letting people in willy nilly. They don't do it anymore. So, so somebody had made a great point. The $40 billion that we just gave to um, Ukraine, all right, if they had taken that $40 billion and gave it to each school, it would be $400,000 that they could have invested in each school to keep our kids safe. Let's look at that. Let's look at safety. How do you keep our kids safe? If you're going to be in that environment and in the school, keep them safe. All right. I my heart hurts for those families that lost children because I couldn't imagine, and I don't ever want to imagine losing a child that young to senseless violence. But I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to give a great example, folks. Great example. If gun laws worked, Chicago would be the safest city in the country. Would be the safest city in the country because they have some of the strictest gun laws in the country in Chicago. Is that the case? Is Chicago a safe place? Can you walk around and feel safe in Chicago? No, because criminals don't give a crap about gun laws. Hey, Asif, oh, hold on a second. I'm a firm believer in door control at schools. Yeah, I think absolutely. The Oversphere, thank you, Ed, for defending heavy metal. And by the way, you can save NCP people. Right, exactly. And and thank you. You're welcome. I'm a heavy metal guy. I grew up listening to heavy metal. Heavy metal did not make me go and do anything stupid. It was something that we were trying to be different. We were being rebels, and it was something that we didn't want to be like everybody else. you know I had my school that I graduated from. They all wore Nikes. The boys all wore Nikes, and they were all clean cut, and they did a so I had long hair, and I wore jeans and boots every day, in t-shirts. So what has changed? Nothing. All these years later, I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy. Did she clean your head? Yes, she did. Looks much nicer instead of all dirty. Um, but yeah, it's just kids want to discover themselves. They want to find their spot in life and in what they want to do. Uh, you know, but I just music doesn't make people do stuff. Never has, never will. I don't care if it's rap. I don't care if it's hard rock. I don't care if it's punk music. Um, you know, it, it it's an identity for these kids. All right, I knew that that was my thing back in the day. I was a heavy metal kid. Ozzy, Metallica, Twisted Sister, your ACDC, Scorpions, all that. Just it was amazing. It was an amazing time to grow up, but we didn't want to go out and hurt anybody. Whatever happened, if you got a problem with somebody, you go deal with it, man to man. Yeah, Megadeth, exactly. Yep. So, you know, love my hard rock. Absolutely love my hard rock. But I like all kinds of music too. So, but now I will tell you this: I don't personally like hardcore rap. I don't. That's my own preference. I can pretty much listen to everything else, but even heavy metal, did not, call women bees and hoes and all that type of stuff, and talk about, hitting it from behind and all this other nonsense. Didn't do that. Okay, so but yeah, the I like current top 40 music at its my escape from current events. And there's nothing wrong. There's a lot of good music out there. Uh, you know, do some of the women use sex appeal to sell records? Of course they do. They're very smart if they do that. That's part of the game. Look at Madonna, guys, back in the day. You know, I like some of Madonna's music. Do I think Madonna's a pig? I do. That's my own personal opinion. But I do like some of her music. Hey, mountain kayaker, arm the teachers. Well, I've talked about that before. That there absolutely needs to be people available that are comfortable with firearms, that could be that person that's a stopgap if something like that happens. So I absolutely agree with you 100% on that. Probably not all of them, but there should be some that should have access to the tools that are needed to defend against lunatics. So, and thank you very much for that donation as well. So, but like I said, music is music. But we have a mental health issue in this country. I want you guys to remember something. I've worked psych before many a times in my nursing career. What they've done is they've closed a lot of the mental hospitals, and let these people back out on the streets. I was living in an apartment building. True story. So I was living in the city, Park Avenue in Rochester, New York, and anybody that knows Park Avenue, and it's a very hoity-toity area, very hipster. It just happened to be where I could get a decent apartment that wasn't, in a crappy neighborhood. So I had it was an apartment building, 3 stories high apartment building, had a bar, 2 bars below me on where our neighbors. There was 2 bars. So I started sleeping with a fan on because of the white noise, but that's a whole different issue. So get there the first night, and on the floor below me, I can hear this woman flipping out, and I'm thinking, oh my god, man, somebody's having a huge, huge fight down there. So next couple of days, I'm walking in the hall. This lunatic lady comes up to me, and she's like, "Oh my, they're watching me and stuff." And I'm like looking at her and looking at the way she's dressed and the way that she's acting. And I realized pretty quickly she was a nut job. I mean, a true nut job. True nut job. Come to find out, she lived alone. She was released from one of these mental facilities, and so she was living in our apartment complex. And so she would randomly be screaming and yelling and fighting with herself in her apartment, and the rest of us had to hear that. So I had one night, I had had enough. um, Went down this flight of stairs, I banged on her apartment door, and I said a few choice things, and told her if she didn't shut up, then she would have a real problem, because I was trying to sleep. And so the next day, you're gonna get this. I mean, you can't make this up. So the people that lived across the hall from her had been in this apartment complex for 30 years. And they came up to me and they go, "What was your problem? Why were you acting that way?" Listen, I said, "Are you freaking kidding me? You live across the hall from this lunatic." I said, "It doesn't bother you that she's flipping out night after night after night?" I'm like, "You." So I was not there in that apartment complex long, because it was insanity. Um, so I've had my share of dealing with that. So, but there's a lot of people out there that are not mentally stable, that they are allowed to be out there in the public, you know, and so unstable people do things that normal people would not even think of doing, and that's you know, and nowadays you can't do that. Yeah. Oh, I know. It's just they would probably arrest me. That's what they would probably do. But it's just insanity. What is allowed to happen is nuts. You know, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems going on, and you know, I know the grandma managed to call the police. Did she survive? I don't think she did. I think she died. So, and they would put you in an asylum today. But that's the point. They've gotten rid of them all. They've gotten rid of them all. And so what they do is they put these people on medication, say take your medication and go on about your business. So there's a lot of, um, yeah, he lived in the Hotel California. Yeah, it was bizarre. I've lived in some interesting places. Interesting places. Oh, she's on life support. Somebody said, okay, so she is still alive. Okay, but Freedom or Death said I lived on Harper Street in Rochester. I've lived on Monroe Avenue in Rochester, so you probably know where that is. I've lived on Park Avenue. I lived off of Goodman Street. We had a house. Oh gosh, trying to remember where that was now. But yeah, I've lived a lot of different parts of the city. A lot of back in when I was younger, and then when I got away from that craziness of the city, life was much better. But we have a lot of issues that are not being dealt with. They want to deflect blame. You have so many of these, officials that have their agenda, and they're going to push it every chance that they get off of the bodies of the dead, which is wrong as well as far as I am concerned. It's crazy, and the shooter just turned 18, and on his 18th birthday, he bought his weapons. Question is, where are his parents? Well, apparently he was living with his grandmother. Yeah, and again, I don't know the kid's whole background. You know we, like I said, it's just I think he had. I don't know if he'd been evaluated or not, but big pharma is one of the major causes, in my humble opinion. I don't disagree with that. I think they are is responsible as anybody else for what they do. So, you know, they're as responsible as anybody else. I just it amazes me, but that they're don't even get me started on the nonsense that goes on with that. But let's go back to the breaking point, folks. I see things progressively getting worse. I see the frustration in people. Uh, you know, how are people surviving? That's like my biggest question, because I know how difficult it can be at times. Trying to make sure everybody's got enough to eat and everything like that, and the gas prices, and we've always heated with wood here since we got here, so that hasn't been a major factor as far as that goes, but you know, like propane, to get the propane filled. I mean, it's not cheap. Uh, any point, when you have your government locking people down, telling them not to go to work, then throwing everybody on unemployment, and then there's no job to go back to because the business closed because they couldn't stay open. That's got to be frustrating for people. How do you go from you know your job is important but yours is not? You know why would it? See, then here's a question that I would have. Let's question a few things. So we had these lockdowns in our country. Liquor stores were allowed to stay open. That's essential. That's important that we had the liquor stores open. I mean, let's think about that. How is that an essential business that needs to stay open? If they're going to close down all of these businesses, all these small mom and pop businesses, we're not allowed to, be able to go and shop there. But you could shop at Walmart. You could shop at Lowe's and Home Depot. They were deemed essential. But that's okay that their workers were risking their lives being there. How come it was okay for a year and a half or better for all these nurses and all these people in the hospitals, from the janitors to the respiratory therapists to the CNAs to the doctors. Why was it okay for them to be in that situation on this, right? Because there wasn't anything. It was okay for them to risk their lives then, and they were the heroes. They were great. They were wonderful. And as soon as this came out, and when some of them questioned the legitimacy of that, and and had questions and said, "No, I'm not going to do that," then they were fired. Does that make any kind of sense to you all? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. They had taken care of people for all that time without that. Why is that? Why do you need to? Here's a ponderance for you guys. Why would you need to force people? Why would you need to force people to take something against their will because they had concerns or questions. And the companies that were developing and giving whatever that product may be, we're not forthright. We're not telling people, oh, well, this is what's in this product and you can take it or not take it. Again, why did they have to force people, to threaten people, to bully people, to intimidate people, to coerce people, to bribe people? Do not forget that. Do not forget that. Joe Meacham down in West Virginia, you could be in the pool and you could win a rifle, right? If you got this, you could be in that pool. They were giving away scholarships for some students. So if that's not bribery, I don't know what bribery is. Explain that one to me. And then anybody that didn't want to, well, you're selfish. You're not thinking of other people. I mean, these were the mantras that were put out there. I'm not see what you got to understand. I'm not saying do it or don't do it. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, you do whatever you want to do. You're an individual. You have an individual choice. You can do what you want. The problem that I had with a lot of it is no transparency, no liability for manufacturers of the product, and being coerced and bullied and being forced to do something that you didn't want to do. That's what I had a problem with. So, guys, we got 767 in the chat. We're at 341 on the thumbs up. So, again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. I do really appreciate that ahead of time, and thank you very much for doing so. It really does help with the algorithms as well. So, the more interaction that we have, they were also giving away free weed in New York as well. So, in New York City, they were doing that too. Um, But also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notification as well. So thank you ahead of time. I do appreciate that. And I will say one final thing about that. Emergency release, not FDA approved. So there we are. That's all I'm going to say. And like I said, again, I'm not telling you to do something. I'm not telling you not to do something. I have always said question everything. That's what I've always said. Mountain kayaker, my friend's cousin has clots now from the jab. He has to take blood thinners for the rest of her life. Wow. Not good. That is not good at all. Well, you know what they say. Um, if you can make a lifelong customer, that's a win-win for Big Pharma, right? So thank you for that statement. I appreciate you sharing that information with us. And thank you very much also for the donation as well. I do appreciate that. But yeah, so anyway, guys, we have an entire country, in my opinion, again, strictly my opinion, that is on the edge. We've been on the edge for a while. What is going to be the straw that breaks a camel's back? That's what I'm curious of. I mean, how much are people willing to take before they say no more? Realistically, there's going to come a point, you know what I mean? So there's going to come a point, and when people have had enough, um, then I think you're going to see all Hades break loose, to be honest with you. And it ain't going to be good and it ain't going to be pretty. But what I will tell you what it will do if we get to that point. Let's say we get to the point where people are rioting and they're in the streets and they're so upset and they want change. You are playing right into the hands of the government, in my opinion, again, strictly my opinion again, because then what happens is then they have the excuse to usher in martial law. And when they usher in martial law, then the Constitution is thrown out. You have zero rights. They can detain you with no due process for as long as they want and do whatever they want to do. So again, be very, very careful. That would be my advice to anybody. Be very, very careful. So it's going to be tough. We're in a tough situation. So the whole thing, of course, you have, like I said, with everything that is going on. Again, I want you to let's talk about this. Let's talk about distractions for a second. Isn't it interesting? While Biden was on his journey, doing his Asian tour, that this happens, and so people are not focusing on that what he's talking about, what was being said, and all those type of situations. Him meeting over with the other meetings that were going on in Europe, and I'm not going to mention what those meetings were. We all know what those meetings were. None of that is being talked about, right? Everything is about the distraction. So, isn't it convenient? This is just an observation. Isn't it convenient that this event happens? So now everybody's focused because it's a tragedy. What happened is a horrific tragedy that should have never happened. Uh, you know, period. But it did, and it is being used as the tool to distract us. Look at what's happening here. Don't pay attention to what we're doing over here. Those are things people need to think about too. So those are that's all part of it. So it's all part of it. When you see what China is doing to their own people, uh, you know, and still trying to say that the loss of life is at a certain level, which is ridiculous to even begin. You're talking about a country that is 4 times as big as the United States. Well, they got 1.4 million people, right? We got what, 330 million, and we've lost over 1 million people supposedly. I'm not saying that it's not true, and I'm not saying that it is true. I'm just saying the information we're been given is that we've lost over 1 million people, but like less than 100,000 Chinese have died. Do you believe that? That's what they're saying, right? That's the information that we're being given. Is that the truth or not the truth? Very interesting. Why would they lock down entire cities in China and force people to stay in their homes and not go out under fear of arrest or imprisonment? That's interesting as well. Um, Again, I find all these things very, very interesting. I like to ponder things. I just, there's just things that I see and I go, that's interesting. That is definitely very, very interesting. So, but yeah, the governments need to eat a Snickers bar. That's actually funny. So, yep. So it's like I said, it is 1% of 1 billion is 10 million. Okay. Also, you're saying that, yeah. Well, if that's, yeah, but let's see. No bread at the stores will lead to riots. Yeah, Asif, I agree with you. Or it will become so expensive, right? It will become so expensive. Wisdom of the Monarch says, Ed, Google it, 450,021 from CV, 650,000 from heart disease. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, and this is, and again, I know I get on these tangents about this and stuff like that. The biggest drain on our health system is not the virus. It is not the virus. It is obesity. Obesity is the biggest drain on the health system because, again, I was over at Becky's for a minute, and she had some show on. I think one of those My 600 Pound Life, and and unfortunately, you see a lot of those people on that show. They don't make it. They don't make it. Some do, very few, but most of them don't because they have every excuse in the world of why they can't do what they should do. So the one young man, he was asking him, how old are you? And here he is. He's bedridden because he's so heavy. He's north of 600 pounds. He was 27 years old. 27. I just it blows my mind. Here's the problem what I have with that type of situation. They can't get up, they can't walk around. Means somebody is enabling them. Somebody's enabling them. Right. Yep. Someone is feeding them. That's abuse. Randy Romine's 100%. The Oversphere, Ed, they make a statue of George Floyd, but no statue for the Sandy Hook kids, nor the kids in this past thing. And I'm sorry, yeah, they make a statue of Floyd. He was a scumbag criminal. That's what he was. There's no denying it. He'd been in and out of prison. He was a scumbag. And he was doing more scumbaggery things when the situation happened. Now, should it have cost him his life? Absolutely not. Should the police have done what they did? Absolutely not. But if you are not in the wrong place at the wrong time doing the wrong things, you wouldn't be in that situation. That's a fact. That's a fact. I always tell people it comes down to three things. Everything in our lives, folks, every one of us comes down to three things: people, places, and things. It's the people you're hanging out with, it's the things that you're doing, in the places that you are. Okay? That's a fact. If you are in the wrong place at the right time with the wrong people, you're going to get yourself jammed up. Oh, I'm sorry. Egg count time. Thank you, JJ. I get on these rolls. I apologize. So again, uh, you know, put yourself in situations that are good. You're in good company. You're not getting into that type of stuff. You're going to be in much better shape. Okay. Yes or no? Did thick neck lay, and what was the egg count today? So I'm not going to tell you what yesterday's was now. So there you go. So now you get no hints today. So you get a moment here, and we will see where we're at. So go ahead and get your guesses up here. Yes or no with thick neck, and what was the egg count? All right. Nobody had 100% on this today. I didn't anticipate that anybody would. But Blue Star did have the right egg count. Blue Star is the only one that had the right egg count. We had 13 eggs today. And yes, Thick Neck did lay today. So Blue Star had said 13 and no. So they were half right. So they only get half of a chicken dinner, not a full chicken dinner. But Blue Star was the only one that had 13 eggs. Yeah, like put them on here now. Yeah, well, now you already know what the answers are. We had a pullet egg today as well. So out of the 13 eggs, one of them was a pullet egg. So that was pretty cool. And but yeah, they were laying really, really good today. And then thick neck laid as well. So but yeah, I figured today was going to be a tougher one because we normally don't get 13 eggs. That's not a normal amount that we get. So but yeah. So good egg count. Really happy with that. So what do we got? 776 in the chat, guys. We're at 439 on the thumbs up. So I'm going to ask again. How many layers do I have? Okay, we have 16 hens and foghorn leghorn. So we have 17 chickens altogether. So one rooster, 16 hens. And I know, like I said, some of my older girls, some of my older reds, they're not laying anymore. So A pullet egg is a small egg. When they first start laying, they're called pullet eggs, which is really little, and then they get bigger over time, and they become normal size after they've been laying for a little bit. Uh, so that is why you call it a pullet egg. So anyway, guys, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that ahead of time. Also, again, it really does help with the algorithm. So the more interaction that we can have, the better it is for the channel. Um, do you eat pullet eggs? Absolutely. They're just smaller. They're very edible. No, it's just like a regular egg, but it's just tiny. So, also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So, really quickly, I want to mention my website, preppernurse1.com. We have the Prepper Nurse One community there, which is a resource that we have set up for you guys to be able to connect with like-minded people. Okay, so definitely take advantage of that. You do have to register, but no credit card information is asked. Once you're in, check out the message boards. Look for people in your state or in your country, and definitely take advantage of that. Also on my website, preppernurse1.com, we have the Forefathers, which is the CBD and hemp store. Definitely take advantage of that as well. If you go there, you'll see their logo, the Forefathers. You click on it, it will take you to their website. Once you're on their website, if you decide to make a CBD or hemp purchase, you can save 15% by using the discount code PrepperNurse1. Also, we have the Legacy Freeze Dried Foods. So again, preppernurse1.com. You click on store, it will drop down. You will see Legacy Foods. You click on that, it will take you to the store in the website. So, Ed, how's mom with your move to the new homestead? Oh, she supports it, and like I said, she wants to be down there as well. But she wants to make sure that everything is functional and comfortable before she comes down. And she's older, and so I can't say that I blame her. So once I get to that point, then mom will come down. So anyway, also 25-year shelf life, GMO free, gluten options available. It is also vegetarian, but there are beef and chicken options as well. So definitely take advantage of that. And it's a good thing to have in your long-term preps. All right. So moving on. Uh, you know, I think, like I said, I think what we're watching is a slow car crash. If I guess if you want to put it in that terminology, it's like when everything slows down and you can see it coming and you know it's coming, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you're basically waiting for the impact. I think that's where we're at right now. Um, a lot of you are out there planting and getting your gardens in, which is great. You're prepping up, you're getting ready as the best way that you can. I think that that is a smart move as well. Put yourself in situations that are going to give you the best opportunity to survive, because we are in a lot of crazy times right now, and there is a lot happening that should be very concerning to a lot of people, but it is, I fear, going to get worse. A slow implosion. Exactly, Sonia. Yep, good analogy. A slow implosion. And we're sitting back here and we see it coming. There's nothing we can do about it. There really isn't. There is nothing we can do about it. Oh, Mary Lab says Amber Johnny. Johnny all the way. I believe him. She's not believable. I think she was the abusive one in that relationship. He might have been a drugger and a drinker, but I don't think Johnny is that type of person. I don't think he's abusive. So that is my take on that whole. And that's another distraction. So, uh, you know, but yeah, I absolutely believe Johnny. I do not believe her. Yeah, she's another Megan. Yeah, it's just these people think that you're going to believe them automatically because they're a female or whatever the case may be. I'm going to tell you what. There's been a lot of cases where, yeah, who gives a rip? Gene Blair says, "Come on now," but yeah, it's just there's a lot going on. There's a lot of distractions happening. There is. A lot to be concerned about. We do need to be concerned, but we just have to stay focused. Focus on what you can control. That's really, really important. If you can stay focused on that, Amber Heard, Andrew, he knows he's just messing around. Keep prepping, keep getting ready. The last easy day was yesterday. Why is that the last easy day? Because it's behind us and it's gone. What we can control, what we can do to put ourselves in better situations for the long haul, for the big picture, that's what we need to be focusing on. So, you know, do what you can do, control what you can control, and be as ready as you can be because I'm telling you guys, when that other shoe drops, all of us, all of us are going to be like, holy crap, I can't believe it happened like that. Whatever that may be. It's going to be a tough situation, and people just need to be ready for it. That's that's I. It sounds easy, but it's not easy. And what we can do is just like I said, focus on your families, uh, have plans. Prepping is great. Being prepped up is fantastic, and it's a wonderful thing, and it's a smart thing, and we all should be doing it. But if you're prepped up and you don't have a game plan, things can go falling apart really, really quickly. And what do I mean by a game plan? Everybody's got to go to work, kids got to go to school. Everybody in the family needs to know what is their role, what do they need to do, when is the time to say, cut bait and run, right? When do we do it? When do we say, all right, if this, or this happens, you just take off and you get home, right? Or have a spot where you meet up. If mom works close to the school, meet there, and then the three of you, two of you, whoever it is, you go home. Dad may have to be working at a farther distance. Mom could work at a farther distance. Doesn't matter. Whoever it is, know what you're going to do. How long are you going to wait before you head out to a bug out location? Or if you are staying home, what are you doing to fortify and secure your homes? Do you have a game plan to do that? Right? That's what you got to think about too. Do you have, if you are bugging in, folks, something to think about. You're bugging in. You've already decided, yes, we're bugging in. Well, do you have 3/4 inch plywood cut ahead of time to put up against the windows so people do not have easy access to your house? Do you have a game plan of what you're going to do if somebody is going to attack your house? What are you going to do to defend that home? Fire is going to take out a lot of people that way, realistically. You know, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? What is your game plan? What are you going to do in that situation? If situation A, B, or C happens, if you have to bug out, where are you going to go? What do you have stored at the bug out location? Do you have caches along the way to the bug out location with supplies if you need them? Again, these are all things that you should be planning now. You should have a game plan. You should know exactly what you're going to do. So when that other shoe drops and we all go, holy crap, this is it. This is it. It's here. We now know it's here. What are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this? That's what we got to think about. So the more prepared we are, the less stress there's going to be. There's going to be plenty of stress, plenty of stress. But if you have a game plan and you know exactly what you're going to do, when that time comes, you're just going to act. It'll be natural. You won't even think about it. You'll be like, okay, this is it. This is what we've been planning for. This is what we've been getting ready for. Now I know. Dad, take some Xanax. Yeah, that's probably not the time, Janet Nice, to be taking Xanax. You're going to want to have a clear head, a very clear head. So think about all these things. You act, you do what you got to do, you get your family together, you're safe, you're bugging in, fantastic. What are you doing to secure your home? How much water do you have? How long can legitimately you stay in that home if you're not attacked? What happens if there is a roving gang coming and they're hitting house to house to house? You know they're coming. You see them. They're many houses away, looting, burning, doing whatever they're doing. Your house is coming up. Do you stay there? Do you defend that home? Do you try to take out as many of them as you possibly can? Or do you run? And if you run, where are you going? Um, for the doggies guitars, Ed, bugging in worries me getting burned out. Yeah, and that should. Um, if you're bugging in, you're susceptible. You're very susceptible if you're bugging in. I think everybody should. I like JJ. I practice hiding under my bed several times a week. That's actually funny. I like that. Again, you need to know what you're going to do. If you have a bug out location, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? I would highly, highly recommend, guys, and I know I say this a lot, group up. Get together with a group. Get together with somebody that you can trust. They can trust you. Build those relationships now. Now is the time. SHTF is not going to be the time when you're bringing in a whole bunch of new people. The trust level, excuse me, is not going to be there. You need to do it now. Hey, Candace, what is your plan for human waste from your large group of SHTF? Would pile would pile up real quick. Yeah, it's a matter of what did they do 100 years ago, 200 years ago. You made sure you were downwind of your water source, and you dug outhouses. You would have to be digging big time latrines, um, and doing outhouses. And if you have a large group, you're talking that big old hole that you're going to have to dig is going to have to be a big hole, a big hole. So, you know, but that's, those are things that you can work on. I mean, you can, you get wood shavings, and use those to help keep the smell down. If you were planning ahead of time and know that it's coming, get lime. Lime helps with that as well. It helps break everything down. So those are things that you need to think about. Thank you very much for the question, and thank you for the donation as well. But again, you always want to plan uh, accordingly that way. So that's what I would you know that's what I would suggest. And again, make sure you have several different outhouses. Janet says, Ed, when your group in West Virginia, how are you going to figure out who you can trust and who you cannot? That is a really good question, Janet. What it comes down to, it's a really good vetting process that I'm doing now. I've made mistakes, be the first to admit it. I would rather make those mistakes now while it's not life and death, um, you know, but I'm weeding out the people that don't belong, honestly, being 100% honest. And the ones that I feel that I can trust that are going to be willing to work with each other, we're building those relationships and those bonds now. I'm doing another get together come June with my group, and we're already, you know, it is it's coming together, and it's taking time, and it works out really, really well. It really does. But if you can put those groups together and figure people out, vetting people is very important. All a background check basically, and let's think about this, okay? So, okay, here's a question for you in the chat. Let's do this, and we're gonna do shout outs here in a second, guys. Give me a second, okay? In the comments, how many of you have committed a crime that you got away with? And I'm talking anything from shoplifting, to stealing something out of somebody's house, or whatever the case may be, uh, doing illegal drugs, whatever how many of you have committed a crime and got away with it? So in the comments, yes or no, have you committed a crime and got away with it? I have. I'll be 100% honest. 100% honest. I plead the fifth. I like that. Um, Not me. I got caught. I like that. That's actually funny as well. Okay, so is a decent majority of people that have committed a crime, or at least they're admitting that they have committed a crime. Some of you are liars. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Um, but the reality is, a background check is only showing you what somebody has gotten caught doing, not what they did and got away with. All right, that happens. That's the reality. What you have to find out is you find out who you can work with, who you cannot work with, who you can trust, who you cannot trust, and that takes time. And so you forge those relationships, you build them. Bad actors are going to weed themselves out, folks. That's the reality. Bad actors are going to weed themselves out because they can always put on that front and that act for so long, and then their true self comes out, and that's how you find out. So now is the time to find out who those bad actors are. Those people that you realize that you cannot trust. Now is the time, not afterwards. Okay, so something to think about. So we got 686 in the chat. We're 528 on the thumbs up. So again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time. I really do appreciate that. Again, it really does help with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction that we do, the better it is for the channel. So thank you for that reason. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Okay, so let's do some shout outs. We have Icky Can up in Canada. Really good dude. I like him a lot. And so I ask you to please go and support him. Watch his journey up there and what he's doing. You have North Shore Preparedness also up in Canada. You have Sean James in Canada as well with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance. We have Angry Prepper down in New York City. We have City Prepper as well. There is the Needy Homesteader. Really like her channel. Really good people there. And also we have Kyle's Cabin up in Minnesota. Also Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods are two other really good channels. Corporal's Corner, Bjorn Hansen. Marfugal News with Dax and Adam out on the West Coast. Green Greg's, Gray Man Prepping, Pinball Preparedness, the Oppenheimer Ranch Project with Diamond. Love him. He's an awesome dude. He's a straight shooter, which I like that too. I always have respect for people that do that. I really do. I'd rather have you shoot me straight than to BS me. You have Doug and Stacy are another good channel. They're really good people as well. You have Alaskan Prepper with Rudy. There is Alaskan Granny. My Simple Life Reclaimed. There is the Nomadic Movement down in Panama. You have the Green Dream Project out in Arizona. They're really, really cool as well. McBean Scottish Channels. Okay. Survival Lily is another one. You have Prepper Princess, Lumina Acres, Deep South Homestead is another really good channel. Boss of the Swamp. There is Wranglestar, uh, Joe with St. Bernard Acres, and let's see. I already said pinball. I'm trying to think of who am I missing. I'm always missing somebody. Ryan Hall, you have Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands in La Palma. And but yeah, I love Ryan Hall with the weather. Real good dude. Definitely somebody to watch. Steve Wallace. Love, love, love Steve Wallace. Camping with Steve. Bear Independent. You have Suspicious Observer. Adapt 2030. Bear Independent. Uh, Petra. Yep, there's another one. Um, Full Spectrum Survival. Yep, like that channel as well. So there's a lot of great channels out there. There's a lot of good information that we should be supporting each other, and I think that's important that we do so. And try to stay positive. Try to stay on top of stuff. You're going to be just fine. But so that's it, guys, for the shout outs for tonight. I got way distracted, and that happens. But yeah, there's a lot of good people out there, and I like I said, I think we should be supporting each other, and I think it's important that we do that. So, all right. So, what are we at? 600 in the chat. We're at 562 on the thumbs up. So let's see if we can hit 650. That's uh that's realistic. I think we can do that. Yeah, leave a $100 bill on the ground, see who finds it and who returns it. That's about right too. Yeah, most people are going to pick that up and are going to walk on down the road. That is for sure. All right, so we are Legion. We are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world. We are a huge network of people. Um, I enjoyed your channel, Ed. Have a great night. Hot Mama Preparedness. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for being here. Very nice of you. Where is everybody from tonight? What part of the country or the world are you in? So, Franklin County, Ohio. We got Michigan, Georgia in the mountains, Connecticut, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Christmas Valley, Oregon, Waterloo, New York, BC, Canada, Lake East, Ohio, Nowhere, Oklahoma, Alaska, Tucson, Arizona, Massachusetts, Northeast Texas, Somerset, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Leesburg, Florida. We have Texas is in the house, Bellevue, Nebraska, Apollo, Texas, West Tennessee, Central Iowa, Virginia, Salem, Oregon. Very nice. The UK is in the house. Very nice. Oklahoma, Cave Creek, Arizona, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Alabama, Roll Tide, Southern Maine, Cloverdale, Indiana, Beverly Hills, Florida. We have Maine is in the house, North Carolina coast, Southern Idaho, Newfoundland, uh, Alliance, Ohio. We have Georgia's in the house, Albany, New York, upstate New York, North Carolina, West Virginia, Claremont, New Hampshire, Ulster Park, New York, California, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Wilds, Inverness, Florida with Clyde. Very nice. Glad to see you here tonight, buddy. Washington State, Missouri, Short Creek, Kentucky. Uh, let's see. El Dorado, Kansas, mountains of North Carolina, Southwest Georgia, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Central Texas, Northern New York, New Hampshire's in the house, Fort Worth, Texas, Vancouver Islands in BC, very nice. Homestead, Florida, Campbell, Missouri's in the house, Greenburg, Pennsylvania. Everything is Berg in Pennsylvania. Colorado Springs, very nice, Colorado. So again, guys, we're all over the place. We're all over the country. We're all over the world. We are a huge, huge network of folks. And we are truly the ones that can make a difference. We can make a difference now, and we can make a difference, um, after an event as well, because we're going to be the ones having to educate the uneducated. They may think they're educated, but they haven't got a clue. When that time comes, we're going to be the ones that can make a difference if they make it or not. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've been woken up, because it's a responsibility. I really do believe that. So what do we got? 560 in the chat. We're at 582. The goal is 650. So we need what, 60? Well, 67 now. We need 67 more thumbs up to hit our goal of 650. So let's see if we can do that. Running short on time, but we'll see what we can do. Steve said, I need a woman who loves the woods. They're out there. They're out there. There's a lot of country girls that really like the country. But so we're at 591. So we need 592. We need 100, or no, 58. 58 more. So we got to get 650 for the thumbs up, guys. Again, control what you can control. Take care of your business. Think about the people that you love and care about. Also, think about the ones that you want to help. Maybe they do nothing, maybe they don't prep at all, but you want to be there for them. Plan accordingly. There's going to be a lot of people knocking on our doors, a lot of people knocking on our doors, and we're going to have to make that choice. Do we help or do we not help? And that's tough. That's a tough call. That's a tough situation for you to be in. Do you take food out of your No stupid 18-year-old kid should be allowed to get an AR. They can't drink, but they can get a gun. We already talked about this. How stupid is the people that support that? Well, okay, so El Garage there, so they can go and fight for their country and die at 18, and that's perfectly acceptable to you? Is that what you're saying? And the only reason they can't drink at 18 is because the lunatics that are in charge made that law. So, that's why they did that. But, if you have a responsible kid, they get a gun way before 18. So, so the 18-year-old that's in the military should not be allowed to have a gun, is what you're saying. Explain that one to me. I was 19 when I was in the military. I went in at 19, right out of high school. So, was I not responsible enough? It was okay then. So, you know, your point is moot. Your argument does not hold any water. And the number of 18-year-olds that do have weapons and a number of 12 and 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds. Um, did you ever bury a child? No, I haven't buried any children. No, I've been very fortunate in that. Wouldn't want to. But because somebody did something stupid, did you bury a child? That would be my question. If you buried a child because somebody did something stupid, you're going to blame the gun? That's my question. You're going to blame the gun, or are you going to blame the individual, or are you going to blame the system for letting that individual fall through the cracks and be able to, get away with something like that? See, that's what I would be looking at. What are all, like I said, what are all the factors? So there you go. I appreciate you getting on and addressing the issues going on. Well, you're welcome. It's a horrible situation. It really, really is. I don't ever want to know what it's like to lose a child. What about, okay, yeah, somebody said, what about the drugs those people are on? What about, let's talk about this one. How many people have lost children? Okay. How many people have lost children to this drug epidemic that we have in this country? What are they doing about that? Drugs are coming in here through the southern border like crazy. They're being shipped in all the time. If you really gave a crap about kids, anybody, if you really gave a crap about kids, they would do something about that. But there's too much money in it. There's too much money in it. And as long as there's money in it, people are going to still do it anyway. And that's how it goes. Yeah, there's a lot of trolls all over. Well, people are passionate, so people are passionate. So I have no problem with being people being passionate. I really don't. But there's a lot of people that have lost children, not just the gun violence. There's a lot more people that have been killed because of drug overdoses or all that fentanyl that's getting put in everything. A lot more kids are dying because of that. Young people and adults. So, um, you know, drunk drivers. Are we going to ban all cars because drunk drivers are out there killing people? So again, people want to jump on the bandwagon, but you know what? Do some thinking before you do that. So, and all right, Prep Rebel said parents should never have to bury their children. They are our biggest preps. Absolutely. And anybody that has lost a child to senseless violence, to a drunk driver, to drugs, or whatever that, my heart goes out to you. It really, truly does. I could never say I know how you feel because I don't. And I don't ever want to. I don't ever want to. So, but it's a horrible, horrible thing. So, anyway, guys, really quickly, what are we at? 621. So we need 29 more thumbs up to hit 650. So again, if you have not shot that thumbs up yet, let's get that up there. No, you're fine to be upset. You're fine. You know what? And that's okay. I understand where you're coming from. I do understand where you're coming from. But again, you got to remember, it's not the gun's fault. It's not the gun's fault. That's what you have to understand. Okay. I mean, that's the reality of it. Uh, you know, so we're trying. Yeah. Randy Romine said it's okay. El Garage this is a chat to find solutions. I don't have all the answers. I don't pretend to have all the answers. Like I said again, too many. We're burying way too many of our young people, way too many, and it's unfortunate. And the criminals, and I say that, and I'm talking about the ones in office that allow these drugs to come into this country like they do. We shipped guns down to Mexico, and one of those guns that we allowed to go to Mexico ended up killing a border agent. Who remembers that? I sure remember that. Okay. I sure remember that. And they allowed that to happen. But that's not okay. That's not okay either. But it happens all the time. So, anyway, we're at what, 6:42. We need 8 more thumbs up, guys. So, first of all, I want to thank all my moderators who do an absolutely wonderful job keeping the chat clean. You guys are very much appreciated. So, I thank you ahead of time with that for what you guys do. It's really, really appreciated. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. This was a tough topic, and I get it. People are very passionate on how they feel, and I understand that, and I respect your right to feel the way that you want to do. But you need to put things into perspective. If you're just going on emotion, emotion is not always the answer. So you have to look at the big picture, and that's unfortunately the reality. So anyway, guys, remember, we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. As soon as we could ever figure that one out, we are really truly going to be in better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. It is a tool that they're using, and they've been doing it for a long time, and it's a game, and we got to not let them do that. So they use race, they use religion, political affiliation, the vax, the unvax. These are all tools that are used to keep us fighting amongst each other. It's ridiculous. We got to stop letting them do it. We need to come together and realize, that we need to support each other. Also, remember, guys, to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that can stop you from reaching your goal is you. That's it, nobody else. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. Just keep taking care of your business, folks. Keep getting ready. Um, Control what you can control. All right. I will see you all in the next one. So we're at 6:58, so we well past our goal. So thank you guys for that. Now we're at 6:60. So stay safe, keep prepping, and let's think about all those people that unfortunately have lost children that they loved. Let's keep them in our thoughts. All right. I will see you all later. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse One out for now.